Okay, let's continue with Paul's sketchbook on page 22. Romans 10:14. How then will they call on him in whom they have not believed? How can he call Jesus if he doesn't believe? How can he do this? No faith. There's no faith. No belief. And how are they to believe in him of whom they have not heard? How can he believe if he hasn't heard? Not heard of Jesus? Doesn't believe. And how can they hear without someone preaching to them? How can they hear without someone preaching to them? No preacher, no one hears. And how can anyone preach unless they are sent? How can anybody hear about Jesus if they're not sent? Can't tell anybody the good news they don't hear. So this is an important one. Missionaries probably go out for this reason. It's like, how can people know unless you're sent I need to get a little penny because you're sent out when you're a missionary. So who is God sending you out to tell? Be sure to get my books and give it to somebody. Say, hey, my friend wrote this, and it's spreading the word and helping people learn, hopefully. I did every verse of Mark. Paul's sketchbook, Psalm sketchbook, there are verses here and there that inspired me, but Mark is like every single verse. Mark's sketchbook, Noah's sketchbook, Samson's sketchbook, those are every verse. And Ruth's sketchbook. How should they call on him whom they have not believed? How can they do that? How can they call on God? And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard? How can they believe in him of whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher? How can they hear about God without a preacher? And how shall they preach unless they are sent? How can they preach? How can they tell unless they're sent? I think a modern movement right now is like missionaries shouldn't go out, but how are they going to learn unless somebody tells them? Amen. Romans 10:15. As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of those who bring good news. Do you have beautiful feet? Do you bring good news? Isaiah 52:7. So that's a prophecy. How beautiful are the feet of those who bring good news. We all want to have beautiful feet and bring good news to people, the gospel. But not all the Israelites accepted the good news, Romans 10:16. So I have them blocking the good news. Not all the Israelites accepted the good news. Help people to accept the good news. Help soften their heart. If the part of the dough offered as first fruits is holy, then the whole batch is holy. If the root is holy, so are the branches. Romans 11:16. So if the part of the dough offered as first fruits is holy, then the whole batch is holy. If the part of the dough offered as first fruits is holy, then the whole batch is holy. If the root is holy, so are the branches. Romans 11:16. So if the roots are holy, so are the holy branches. Let's be holy as God is holy. It's hard to do. Help us, God. Let's read a couple more. All day long I have stretched out my hands to a disobedient, contrary people. Stretch their hand to disobedient, contrary people. So present your bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable to God. Romans 12:1. Present your bodies as a living sacrifice. And I urge you to offer your bodies as living sacrifices. Amen. God, please take us and use us, mold us and shape us. Amen. God bless you and your ministry and whatever God calls you to do. Have a good Sunday.